I have a couple of questions about the flat Earth theories, um, because some of their evidence just doesn't jive with me at all. Um, but I do also see some interesting points that they have. This airplane stuff, some of that's a little strange, I'll admit. But a lot of the evidence they give when it comes to the um, video aspect, we'll say, doesn't fly. It doesn't. You're showing me things like with, a curved lens to show me how it's a, to show me a level plane, but at the same time, you just see the thing that the plane, the horizon go up and down. You can see that this is a lens effect. Just about everything I see from them is a lens effect. Um, and I'm sitting on the beach a few months ago, just before winter, October, and I had a nice um ocean view. And the first thing that hit me, I mean, I saw in the morning the most beautiful sunrises. I could see them just right over the horizon. And this sun came up big. It's not a tiny little ball coming at me and then getting bigger. That's not what I'm seeing whatsoever. I'm seeing a big ass sun come over the horizon. And then it goes through the sky all day. And then not far from there is a really interesting region in northern New Brunswick, because you just have to drive in the other direction for, a half hour, and you can see the sun set over the ocean. And again, it's a big ass sun going over the horizon. And you're showing me a little ball in a video. I saw this, where you do see the sun small and then it gets big. But what you're seeing is the sun at a low Kelvin temperature, so that the camera can handle that, the sensor. It can see that the full sun. And then once it gets up into the higher Kelvins and becomes very, 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 very bright, it appears to be bigger, but it's really just brightness. It's just the sensor, taking in the sunshine. And you didn't have so much sunshine when it was coming up or going down in those lower Kelvin spectrums. Kelvin being how you measure light, and dark, red, those are your lower Kelvins. Your higher Kelvins are up in the blues and all the way to white. So this kind of it flies in the face of this whole, where does, if you, that's the curve, that's the horizon. So my challenge, I'm not, I've seen other things. There's things that blow my mind. Like, why do I see the moon and the sun in the sky at the same time? And I'll see a moon in its phase. Well, the Earth's certainly not in front of the sun. The sun's right there, and the moon's right there, and the Earth's not in front of it. So, okay, so it's its own shadow from the sun. Okay, well, again, you look at it in the sky, and then I'll Google and it's day, and then you Google Australia at night, or to see the moon phase in Australia, and there'll be a moon phase in Australia. It'll say tonight the moon is this and this. Well, if it's in my sky in Canada in the day, then what the fuck are they seeing in Australia? It's the other side of the planet. How could they see any moon while it's in my sky? So, I got lots of questions. And there are some interesting things about, that I'm seeing about people doing laser tests across areas that shouldn't be able to see the laser on the other side. So there's no question, these are really interesting things. But the curvature is the horizon. I mean, you just have to come to Canada, and go sit at the beach, and what you're going to see is the sun go over the horizon. It's going to be the same size as it was in the sky all day. It's not peering off into a small, out of my perspective. It's just not what I'm seeing. I could be wrong, but that's not what I'm seeing. I see a big sun come up over the horizon. I see a big sun go to sunset. So this is not something going off into the distance and becoming small until it becomes night. And like when we're talking about why would the spectrum be any different? Also, like why, like as it's coming up over the horizon, maybe maybe that's pretty scientific, and maybe there's a really good answer for that. Like it's just close to the Earth, and I don't know. I'm not sure, because right there, just the fact that there is, there's no UVs in the day, like, once the sun's gotten up past a certain height in our line of sight or vision or whatever perspective or relative to the Earth, then then the UVs come in, that'll hurt your eyes. You hear about sun gazers, and sun gazers they're looking at in the very first phases in the morning and the very last phases at night, because there's no UVs that'll damage their eyes. So that's I'd like to know maybe just about the UVs too. Like if somebody's got an easy answer for that, I'd like to know that, because why would it be a lower Kelvin temperature if it's small coming, if it's one thing coming toward you, not up and over something. So these are just my questions. I've watched a ton of stuff on this flat Earth stuff. I'm always interested in new ideas and stuff, and that Mandela effect, that's been really kind of messing with my reality, because I remember things the way that they're not anymore in a lot of these cases. Mirror, mirror on the wall. So anyhow, I just wanted to put my 2 cents in. But here is what I'm proposing. If there's an animator out there who could create an animated globe, somewhat like maybe Google Earth, where you could be in space, like in a range of computer space, where you could be that thing on the ground that would be our height, looking out at a horizon. How high would you have to go up into the sky before you would start seeing the appearance of a globe? Because we're minute on the planet, so from that perspective. But I'd be really interested in knowing, how far out do I need to be before I really start seeing a curvature? I mentioned the horizon, but when you're looking around, if you're in an airplane or something like that, but still, are you really that high? Like, do you have to be even 100 miles up or kilometers, or because the low orbit is what I think 300 miles. In Canada it's kilometers, so I could be messing that up, and that would make a big difference. But anyhow, that's what I'd like to see somebody who is a flat earther or not a flat earther, or somebody who's just curious themselves, because I don't do animations. I work in television and film, but I don't do animations. I'd like to see somebody create a 24,000 kilometer animation planet, and then put us on it, and then bring that avatar up until it can see a curve. Because maybe you'll prove your point right there. Maybe you'll be like, hey, everybody, this is what you should see when you're at the top of a building. This is what you should see when you're in a plane. This is what you should see. I don't know. All those kind of examples. You'd prove your point right there. If, a serious flat earther could prove their point and say, well, look, there's nothing more to say. This is what you ought to be seeing, and this isn't what you're seeing. I'm just putting it out there. If you'd like to comment, I'll leave, I'd love to hear what you think. And yeah, let's build the globe and see what's going on. Bye.